we go.
Mhm.
There we go. Usually there's a level. Well, hi. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. I'm Tracey Flintoff, and I am with my very dear friend, Cami Bretko. And we are here south of Seattle in the Northwest. We should be summer. Didn't we just have Memorial Day, right? And if I look out here, it's like cold, raining, gray, gloomy. Um, so we're all lacking some sunshine, some vitamin D in our part of the country right now. And the information we're going to share with you tonight is to help you realize, for those of us that are sun deprived, and whether you are not sun deprived, how light can make a really big difference in our life and our health. And it's something that's really changed my life, Cammie's life. Pretty much everyone we share this with, we end up having some pretty great stories and good things to celebrate. But this found me, the patches we're going to speak about tonight. Hopefully you can see this here on my neck. I happen to be wearing one today called glutathione. And glutathione is our friend when it comes to toxicity. And Cami will talk more about that later in the information session here. But I was the marketing manager at our state fair. I went through a very horrible menopause that literally took my brain away. And I was anxiety ridden. My hair was falling out. I really didn't have eyebrows. And I didn't sleep because I had such horrible hot flashes. And I lost my words and I lost my intelligence and my confidence went out the door with all that too. So that wasn't a good place to be. But thankfully, a friend shared this with us and originally shared for Eric spinal fusion in his back that was causing him terrible pain and he just wasn't recovering. And then lo and behold, I was told to use these. I didn't think I needed them because I didn't have pain. Why would I need that? I don't have pain. Well, guess what? What we're going to talk about tonight, these repair cells, has everything to do with pain and nothing to do with pain. It has to do with whatever your body is needing. So just a game changer, a life changer. And the beautiful thing is it's all natural. So you don't have to worry about side effects or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and share with you our PowerPoint. Put on my glasses here real quick. My computer is playing tricks on me today. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. There we go. Can everybody see the screen I have up here? Okay, so what we're talking about tonight is reversal of aging. And naturally, using light, that sunshine out there is very powerful. And I heard a recent statistic that about 2/3 of our planet will end up dying from an avoidable disease. And I thought, that's just wrong. And I don't want to be one of those statistics. But luckily, what we're going to share tonight is a smart new technology. And it has the ability to help you not be one of those statistics. It can work preventatively, it can work reparatively. And it's allowing your body to repair itself as it was designed to do. And it allows our body to turn back the hands of time. Because, we all have this goal of having this vibrant, amazing golden year retirement, and that doesn't always happen for everybody. So we're going to help give you some hints and tips on things that can turn that around and make that glow and be as beautiful as you want long into your life and possibly even extend your life. But this is considered a holistic wellness product in the FDA classifications. So we are not able to make any medical claims. It's not a medical device, and we're not medical professionals. Surprise, surprise, Cami and I are not your doctor. And we're not going to diagnose or treat any medical conditions, but we're going to share information that we feel is really life-changing and so helpful. And you always want to consult with your doctor with whatever you might have going on with yourself or your specific needs. But you may have heard, you may know a little bit, or maybe nothing about stem cells, but they are around in the media and people do talk about getting injections. And, if you're bone on bone, arthritis ridden, an injection in your knee can be very, very expensive. Often because in the US, the best stem cells that are called pluripotent that come from cord blood are not available in America any longer. We have to go out of country, and often we are going to Panama. We could be going to Greece or Germany. Other countries have these really strong stem cells. We have a different type. It's using our own stem cell. It's called PRP, but it's still a painful process. That injection, that big, ugly, long needle. I know of one person that couldn't go through the 3 injections she prepaid for because they were so painful. That's not good. They are not always effective. You are injecting somebody else's DNA into your body, and our body doesn't usually like that. Our body wants our own stuff in our body, so it's not trying to reject. But they are invasive. There are possible side effects. There's really no guarantee that these very expensive stem cell injections are going to do what they're intended to do. And when I say expensive, to give you an idea, Tony Robbins recently went down to Panama and got his shoulder injected, and I believe it was $35,000 plus travel expenses. But then the bigger thing is, how are those stem cells sourced, and is that ethical? And we're going to talk more about the power of stem cells here coming up. But if there was an affordable alternative, might you be interested? If you had something going on that you knew that those particular cells could help, would you be open to it? And I so thankful I was. But what we're talking about is a wearable phototherapy patch, like you see here on my neck. These were developed 20 years ago for the U.S. Navy SEALs. They ended up in the Olympic swim team's hands down at Stanford. 6 out of the 8 swimmers that tried these out set their best personal records. And what they are enabling the body to do is power itself, repair itself, utilizing the body's own light. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it's age reversal technology. There's no drugs, no chemicals. You don't have to worry about side effects or stimulants. There's no interaction with the medications you're on, which I love. This is a privately held company, and you might be wondering, why am I not learning about this from my doctor? Well, because this is a globally held patent, and the founder of this company really puts purpose over profit. And if this was called on to the doctors by the pharmaceutical reps, you would be paying thousands of dollars a month for what this is, for what it does. And you'll see why in a few minutes. But he wants to keep it very affordable. He doesn't want only wealthy people in our country to have access to the best product to support the body. But the world has used light on a daily basis for repair. We all do when we go out in the sun, because vitamin D3 is a result of sunlight triggering a response in our body, a biological response that is really basically photosynthesis. And you probably remember this from science class: a water, seed, dirt, and sprout. Voila, we have a plant, right? No different in our body. That sunshine hits our skin and tells our body to make the vitamin D3. That is the same concept of what these patches are doing in our own body. But these are body heat activated, like I mentioned. It reflects back into your body your own infrared light. And you're probably like saying, light? What light are you talking about? You can't see it to the naked eye. But if you've ever watched a crime drama show and you see somebody out in the forest with night vision goggles, and they can see a heat reflection around a person or an animal, that's the light that's being reflected back into the body to do the repair. And you can see this lady here, the patch is on the back of her neck, and it is activating those cells in her body and helping her body repair itself. And where we place these patches is really based on Chinese acupressure. And it works based on meridian flow on the body. If you've ever had acupuncture or acupressure done, it's all about moving energy in their culture. And they're well ahead of America in natural healing modalities. But they know when you have a blockage of energy, they call that qi, that is pain. And when we are getting out the toxins, that is a big thing of energy. It takes energy to get the toxins out of our body. So if we have a toxic-based issue, that can be changed with light. But it's been around for thousands of years. If you read back in Roman and Grecian history, historical times, they used to use light to repair. I guess we kind of forgot about it, or maybe Big Pharma kind of helped bury it. I don't know. But wavelengths of light, you can see here the red infrared light. That is a synthetic form of infrared light, and it can do great things for the body. You can only use at limited time. The laser light you see there is concentrated light. And then we have the infrared sauna here that is making big differences in the body using light again. We have a tool called a health tracker, and this was something newer that we did not have in the beginning when we started using these patches. I sure wish I would have, because I would have documented things and I would have been able to really understand what was happening with my body, but I would just kind of figure things out along the way. But I mentioned I went through that horrible menopause, and I have to tell you, 2 weeks in, I started sleeping through the night. I hadn't done that since after having kids. And I started dreaming. And that's really critically important to good health. If you're not a good sleeper, that can lead to a lot of problems down the road, especially toxicity-based problems, excuse me. But about 6 weeks in, I told you I was losing my hair and I had very thin hair. And my hairstylist was like, "What do you have going on up here on your head? Because you got all these new hair starts like I have never seen all over." And I said, "Wow, they did say that these patches could elevate my collagen and helps with hair and nails and vision and all sorts of things." I didn't know it was really going to happen to me. And that is when I really became a big believer that, wow, these really are working. It's not just my wishful thinking. But had I had that health tracker, I would have noted all of my issues. I would have listed my prescriptions, my levothyroxine for my thyroid that I'd been on for 15 years. I would have also noticed that my pain in my left foot from a bunion that I've had since I was very young, being an ice skater and a skier from a young age. I have had a lot of pain in my feet, and both feet had identical, horrific bunions. I mean, they ruined every pair of shoes I ever owned. And I had one surgically removed on my right foot. I swore I'd never do it again. It was so painful, and I lived in a recliner chair for 2 months. Took me a year to recover from that very painful surgery. But about 9 months into me wearing these, a friend of mine called and said, "Do you think those patches you wear would help my bunionectomy? Or they want to do the bunionectomy that you said you'd never do again." And I was like, huh, my bunion? Well, gee whiz, my foot doesn't hurt at all. Hmm. I guess that must be attributable to the patches. Well, I take off both of my shoes. We look at my feet, and I have exactly identical feet now. One, I had a surgical removal of a bunion, the other, perfect foot. But you really can't feel cellular change. You can't feel when your cells are declining and you're on the verge of diabetes or dementia, high blood pressure, autoimmune. The same is true with the repair. You can't always feel that right away. So it can take some time. But what we love to do is share results. And I know Joy has offered to be one of our testimonials tonight. And Joy is my very dear, dear friend that I had a very hard time convincing to try these out. And Joy, if you're there, if you'd like to unmute yourself, I'm going to stop sharing.
Hi.
And thank you for joining us. Yay, she's not in Maui for a change.
Sure.
Some of you hear of the mystical Joy that is in Maui. She's actually in Olympia at the moment, temporarily. So I'll let you
Hi.
take it from here.
Okay. So, 7.5 years ago, I slipped and fell on ice in my driveway and received a concussion. And it majorly changed my life, where I wasn't able to drive. I wasn't able to look at electronics bigger than my phone. I couldn't work. I had damaged my sensory processing center. And so the data in and out was difficult. And so I'd get bad sensory hangovers and sensory overwhelm. And I tried all different kinds of modalities. I'd gone to rehab, done optometry, vision therapy, neurochiropractic, had special glasses I wore, did different things with essential oils and supplements, and went organic and chemical free as possible. And I still was struggling. And Tracey would take me back and forth to my doctor's appointments, and she'd take me to, buy groceries or whatever a lot of times. And she's just a totally fantastic person. And she gave me some of these patches, and they looked like Band-Aids. And I'd done several cleanses and worked really hard at getting my body chemical free. And I was like, I don't want to put chemicals back in my body. And so she would send me educational things, and also, she'd send me podcasts with people with testimonials and different things like that. And so I would listen to them. And then she'd hold me hostage in the car while she was taking me places and play them as well. And she had taken me to a new rehab center, and I had a lot of hope that they were going to be able to help me. And I realized after 4 hours of intense testing that they weren't going to be able to help me the way that I thought. And on the way home, Tracey was playing a testimonial with a podcast of a lady whose dad had Alzheimer's. And the only place he would tolerate a patch was on his elbow. And so she just kept, putting the patches on him. And at the time she started, he didn't know who she was. He wasn't able to do activities of daily living or chores. And he slowly started being able to do more things and know who she was, and do life. And so about 9 months after he had started, they took him back for another brain scan, and he actually had no sign he'd ever had Alzheimer's. And I was like, well, uh, Tracey, I'm going to start wearing these patches tomorrow. And I was staying at her house. I woke up the next morning and had a terrible sensory hangover. I felt, had terrible headache, brain fog. My whole body ached. I was nauseous, and put a patch on my C7, just X39. That's all I started with was X39. And 45 minutes later, my pain level was down to a 3. And I was like, oh my goodness, these things work. And it was March 8th, 2022, 2022, because it was Tracey's son's birthday. And the night before, she'd asked me if I wanted to go out to dinner with them to celebrate. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to, because going out was really difficult and it was really complicated, and I'd be sick and have sensory hangovers. And then I already was, had already done too much. And she got home from work that night, and I told her I wanted to go. I was feeling great, and I went, had dinner, had no problems, no sensory overwhelm. The next day I had no sensory hangovers, and I went and ran all kinds of errands with Tracey, and it was great. I went to the mall and everything and didn't have problems, and didn't have a sensory hangover after or anything. And week and a half later, a friend of mine came, and I drove for a short bit. And a month and a half later, I needed to go to Oregon to see my daughter and grandboys. And a friend of mine took me, and I drove the whole distance all the way to Oregon. And I was like, I can buy a car and drive it home. And so I did. And I've been going ever since. And so they completely changed my life. And I'm so grateful that Tracey didn't give up on me. So anyway, that's my story.
Thank you. I never get tired of hearing that story. And she really was funny because she was just so adamant that she was just not going to do this. And then when she did, what a difference. But um, I'll tell you a couple other quick ones. So Eric's father was diagnosed with rapid onset Alzheimer's. And I had just been using these not very long when he was diagnosed, and my brain came back so quickly. And that recording that I had Joy listen to is the one that gave me the idea to have him utilize these patches. And Eric's mom said, well, and she was very open to natural modalities. And 20 some years ago, when they built their dream home, she had a reverse osmosis water system installed. So she's pretty cutting edge on health and different things, and natural modalities, I should say. And so she said, well, if you're ordering him those, and I, showed her some stuff and had to watch a couple videos. She's like, I want the ones for pretty skin. Get me the ones that, raise the collagen. And so that was her goal. And we did. And then ironically, she had been on a wait list during COVID for a shoulder replacement because she was bone on bone in pain. And she, 3.5 months after wearing the combination of patches for pretty skin, called Eric and said, well, guess what I canceled today? And Eric said, well, Mom, I don't know. What did you cancel? And she said, my shoulder replacement surgery. He was, Why? Why would you do that? You've been on the wait list. You should be getting to the top of the list." She said, "Oh, I was. I was the top of the list. That's why they called. And I canceled it because my pain is gone. Those patches are amazing. And I've been putting them right on my shoulder too. And now my shoulder doesn't hurt." Well, what we have now figured out, and we're learning so much more about the body than I ever knew, is collagen is joint lubrication. It's also soft tissue repair. So ligament, tendon, and ultimately it can even regenerate cartilage. And in a few minutes here, we're going to show you a couple quick things. And happy to report that Eric's dad no longer has the Alzheimer's. He is absolutely just the best that he has been in many, many years, and telling jokes like crazy. So pretty fun. So thank you so much, Joy, for sharing your story.
I have a picture I can share.
Okay.
A story,
Okay.
if you want.
Cool. Sure. You want to do one? Okay.
Um,
I'll stop share. Okay. Cammie has a picture she's going to share.
Okay. I'm gonna open it. Okay, I'm putting it in the chat, but I'll see if I can share the screen as well. Sorry for the, which one do I want to open?
I know it's tricky on the Zoom, huh?
It is tricky on the Zoom. Okay. Sorry, I had a picture all ready to go. There we go. Okay,
I'm seeing FedEx envelope.
do you see anything?
Oh, now
I
we're
see your
back to
picture.
us. You see it?
Well,
Yeah,
she can see the picture on her on her phone, but
So what it was showing me was like an email with something about shipping to San Diego, from San Diego.
there we go. Okay. Now it should be ready to go. There we go. Yay! So this is continuing on the story about Alavita and X39. So this is Carla's dad, and the picture on the left, on the right, is the picture that she put on his 90th birthday invitation. He just turned 90 in the beginning of February. We did a party for him in January. Well, he fell and tore his rotator cuff in October of last year. So that was a couple months after he started patching. Thankfully, he was faithful with the Alavita at night, which helped rebuild that collagen and cartilage in his shoulder. But you see, this is a picture on the left side of him on at his birthday party. So he'd been patching for 6 months, faithful with
Pretty fantastic.
X39 and Eon, but you can see he looks younger in the picture on the left than the picture that was taken a couple years prior. Go figure.
Pretty cool.
And his shoulder, the doctor would not do surgery on his torn rotator cuff, but because of his age, but he was able to it's fixed. When I talked to him at his birthday party, I'm like, "How's your shoulder doing, Ray?" He goes, "It's all fixed up. I just have 2 more appointments at physical therapy and then they're gonna fire me." So I was pretty
Cute.
thrilled
Very
for
cute.
him.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Okay. So. All righty. So we'll go back over to our PowerPoint. So these were, like I said, originally just developed for the U.S. Navy SEALs down in San Diego, and they ended up in the hands of some athletes. So you see Serena Williams, her sister Venus, David Beckham, Michael Phelps, when he won all those medals in Beijing. He was wearing these patches. If you remember, there was some controversy around him. They were thinking he was doping because he was beating everyone by so much. But when you supercharge the mitochondria of the cell, utilizing these patches, you can be superhuman and win a lot of medals. So, but in 2019, history was made when the X39, that is the holy grail of healing was created because it regenerates those repair cells that have been deactivated or gone dormant, kind of like burned out light bulbs. So these have been around for quite a while with athletes. You and I haven't known about them because we weren't the target until now, because now they're realizing how incredible these are. But there's a quick little timeline here. What these are is a gene whisperer too. We're not just repairing, things that are visible and you feel and you can be repairing your genes that you inherited and turning back the hands of time on them. And when you turn back the hands of time, if you were, preeminent for Alzheimer's or diabetes and you regenerate genetically at the gene level, you might not ever get that. How cool would that be? No promises or anything, but that is a potential. In the first 24 hours, 4,000 genes reset. 1 to 3 months, you're seeing physical, mental, emotional changes are happening. 3 to 6 months is when you get into that deeper repair phase. The longer you wear these, the more you go into that reverse aging phase. But they did a study with 6 weeks of people wearing X39, and people lowered their cardiovascular age on average, equivalent of about a day and a third for every 6 weeks they wore them. So if you do the math on that, I mean, that's pretty remarkable. So that is about 8 years younger in 6 months, and pretty great. I'd sure rather go back than forward. And we know this is kind of a lot of information, perhaps, and you might want to share this with somebody, but there's a fantastic website called Start X39 Now. This is not a company-produced website because the FDA in our country does not allow the company to promote and let people know all the great things this does. We have to be very careful and the wording that is used, but we can go on this website and get a lot more information than the company is able to share. So this is the first page when you come in. It's talking about the power of the patch, activating your own light, so you feel young again. There are 2 videos, and I highly recommend everyone watch them. The first one's 2 minutes on the history of light and what it does for the body. The second one is about GHK copper peptide, and that is what actually activates stem cells for body regeneration. This one's only 3 minutes. I love this science community section because they have all the patents. There's over 100 patents. They have 90 clinical trials in all different countries, and different companies have done these. These are not done internally by this company. These are peer-reviewed clinical trials often. But I love this section here that I highlighted in yellow, age reversal with GHK, because it really goes more in detail of what's happening. And it's a little science speak, but if you're a doctor or somebody in, health, they will get what all this means. But essentially, lung protection, it's the linings of the lung, very quickly repaired and regenerated from damage. Anti-fast growing cells, I mean, who doesn't want that these days? And this is, a lot of different compounds here to help with fast growing cells in the colon and program cell death for those zombie cells that we don't want reproducing in our body, helping them to die and not reproduce. I love the last one, the GHK resetting 84 genes to inhibit fast growing cells. I mean, who doesn't want that? I love the section here about doctors, and you can listen to a cardiologist, an integrative medicine doctor, and they'll tell you a little bit about their experience, and you get to learn about some of their clients or patients' experience. The doctor, Pamela here, the acupuncture doctor, I learned from her that these are really very similar to acupuncture, and they use these in the clinic to continue the treatment after the patient has left the office. So I think that's pretty great. But like I said, because of FDA regulations and compliance, we can't tell you a lot of what these can do, but we're going to show you some other people's results. So this is a snowboarder. Luckily for him, his mom had these patches and he had a job interview. So that is quite a remarkable rapid repair. This one is scar remodeling. And again, that collagen, it's not just pretty skin, but it can be scar remodeling. And this is an open heart surgery scar on the left. In 1 year, this is Mother Nature's repair job, but just 1 month of using the X39, look at how different that scar looks. It's not as deep. The colors have changed. This little guy cut off the end of his finger in a door, poor thing. And this is 2 months after patching. That those parents had to really talk that surgeon into sewing on that dead finger because he didn't want to. He was just going to do a flap of skin. But their friends had these patches and they insisted that this boy have full use of that finger again. And he does. This is bulging discs, and this is collagen, joint lubrication, and cartilage. So what this is doing, and what we're looking at here, is a degenerative spinal cord on the left. Where you see that cord indenting, that is pain. That's that term bone on bone. And if you look at the bulging disc, that is down here below the C7 and the T1. You see that black piece pushing into the spinal cord. That is causing a lot of pain for that person. The picture on the right is the same patient. A few months later, that spinal cord is totally regenerated, and the bulging disc has gone back into position, which is pretty great. That's a changed life. This took some time because this was during trials of using just X39. They have since decided and realized that if you activate a peptide in your liver with Eon, it's an anti-inflammatory, and then you use that Alavida, you get a much quicker result. So it can cut the timeline down dramatically, but we never know exactly how long the time will take. This is somebody with a curvature of her spine. She used the combination of X39 and Ice Wave. You can see her spine realigned in about a month. This is just showing, age reversal is quite remarkable compared to anti-aging. Anti-aging, you stop where you are today. And I don't think Grandpa Dude would be celebrating anything if he still looked like Grandpa Dude all the time. But 14 months later, this is our friend, Dr. John Harmon. Carla and Cammie have become very close with him. He's in Idaho, so they swing by his office often, and he really helps us with some trainings and really great things. But this is 14 months later. And this is Mandy. She's from Australia. She's a friend of John's, David Schmidt, excuse me. She could not wait to get her hands on the X39. And this is her progression in 1 year. I mean, she starts out looking like grandma, little thin lips, very thin hair, sunken eyes. And look at her. I mean, she just looks beautiful. She looks like, the granddaughter maybe. And this is showing vitality. I just love this. It's not just that her skin is better, her hair is better, but just look at those eyes. You can just tell she is happier on the inside and out. Age reversal technology there. This is our friend Marcy Preble. My purse is in my office. Sorry, my son is home to get a Costco gas card. Anyway, this is our friend Marcy, and she's the one who created that website, X39 Now. Start X39 Now, excuse me. This is her on her journey with post chemo, and she had stage 3 breast cancer that had spread to the lymph and then to a very aggressive skin cancer that never goes into remission. And luckily, her naturopath gave her 10 of the X39. Day 3, she started detoxing. She tasted metals coming out her mouth, horrible taste. And then day 7, it came out through her back, horrible back acne. But those toxins have got to get out of the body. And people that do have that C word, they tend to have low glutathione, and we'll talk about that. And we need to get that back up. And we have a patch for that. It's the one I'm wearing on my neck. Just life-changing. But look at her. She's beautiful. This is 4 years later. Complete remission. Even that skin cancer, that never goes into remission. Pretty great. I think we should have billboards with this, but sadly, we have to share it and whisper it. I think it's sad, but anyway, it is what it is. This is collagen hyaluronic acid. You can see the tightening around the jawline, and the turkey neck goes away. Varicose veins, of course the veins are still there, but we're just bringing back the collagen, filling in around the veins. And then this birthmark, wow, can't imagine the changed life this guy has. This here is an autoimmune issue, a skin condition. And this is the same person. And Cammie and I have debated this several times. I was convinced these were two different people, but no, it really is the same guy. And when you get the toxins out of your body and you let the repair cells do their job, beautiful, great things happen. And he's evidence of that one. This is hormone regulation and hair regrowth. And for me, it took about 4.5 months. My thyroid regenerated itself and I got to get off my levothyroxine. I use 0 prescription meds now, and I'm 58. First time in my life I have been prescription free. The older I'm getting, it's pretty great. But so when you get the hormones regulated, great things happen. And this young lady, 6 weeks, look at that gorgeous glowing skin. This fella here, 5 weeks, look at that head of hair. Who wouldn't want that? And it just gets better and better. I haven't had this much hair since I was a kid. This better than Botox. You know, Botox, you're putting really bad things into your body, and a lot of women are injecting that around their eyes and between their eyebrows, and we're so close to the brain. Please don't do that. You're just putting bad things near your brain. You don't want the later effects of dementia and Alzheimer's. It's just not worth it. But you can use a combination of patches, and it really does regenerate. I mean, look at this lady's décolleté. She was a bride, and her friend had her start the skincare along with the Alavita. It's skincare from the inside out. It's just genius, excuse me, genius. So Dr. Harmon taught us about brain health, and he's a brain expert. And he was sharing that we lose about 9,000 neurons a day in our brain, and that decline begins around age 30, which is a little shocking to me. And we're losing about 2 to 4,000 neurons a day, and that's just not enough to keep up with our age as we, get older. That's, that does things. And so they did a study with a lot of people looking at brain health. And it was a heat mapping EEG. And what we're looking at here in session 1 is baseline before they've worn any patches. And we're looking down on that brain. And where you see orange and red, that is inflammation. And I've had people tell me, oh, I don't have inflammation. I have low inflammation. You just don't know what you have until you get, the proper testing. But that's a lot of inflammation. This is a 77-year-old woman with dementia. The words don't come to her. The thoughts don't come to her. 3 weeks later is session 2. You can see the hot brain is no longer a hot brain. This is now a cool brain. It's not a perfect brain yet, though. The body knows what it needs to do, and the body does it at the cellular level. Takes a little bit of time, but a pretty little bit of time, because the session 3, that's only a total of 6 weeks, and that is a perfectly balanced brain. Now, mind you, she may not be 100% perfect. The longer she continues to use these, the better, but that is a radical change in that brain. And that's a lot of why Joy gave the testimony she did, buying a car at 6 weeks. She's right on track with the rewiring of the brain. So that is huge. And it's decreasing the inflammation, helping with the cognition, and it's that GHK copper peptide that's really allowing a lot of that to happen. But what I love is these aren't just for us humans. These are for our fur babies, which, a lot of us are pretty affectionately bonded with those babies. And they were using these on racehorses for years because you get a pulled ligament tendon. You don't want to put them out to pasture. They started patching them up, and these horses recovered really quickly. So word started getting out. And then we realized a lot of people were putting their used patches on their animals and having great results. I love the black lab here. This is Brutus. This is my friend Terry's dog. He's 14-year-old black lab, and he was in a lot of pain with arthritis. So I said, Terry, you should put these on the inside of his collar, use some medical tape. Don't go across the little crystal lattice structure in the middle. And these, can help regenerate animals too. So I did not know that this poor dog had gone blind with cataracts from diabetes. But that picture on the left, he has absolutely no pupil. He sleeps on his bed all day long. She has to pull him out the door with a leash to go potty. He's not living a quality life. That was December 21st of 2022. That picture on the right is December 28th of 2022. If you can imagine, that dog has a brown eye and a pupil, and he starts following her around the house again. He's seeing, and she called me crying, and we cried together because we were just ecstatic. I mean, that's so cool. And I know Cindy is on here, and she had an amazing result with her kitty that they thought they were going to have to put down. And that cat is just getting better and better and regaining the hair it was losing, and pretty great. So the next thing we'll talk about real quickly is the gut regeneration system. And I found this image on good old Google talking about that GHK copper peptide breaking down fat cells. And that kind of intrigued me. And I thought, wow, and this is from a molecular biologist professor at the University of California. And then I happened to hear a metaphysician, Dr. Velvet, one day as I was driving in a long car ride, and she was talking about her focus is helping people find the root cause of their imbalance. She treats a lot of people for depression and anxiety uniquely because she treats that through the stomach rather than through meds. And what she has found is when you get the stomach repaired and absorbing nutrients, the brain starts getting the nutrients it needs, and those issues, cognition, anxiety, depression, whatever they might be, they tend to resolve themselves. And again, I'm just sharing somebody's results. I'm not making any promises or claims, but she thought before she tried on her patients, she should do it. And you can see the difference in her body shape. She lost 33 inches in 18 days. And these are the 4 patches that we use. So this is not necessarily about weight loss. This is not a vanity thing. This is an internal health thing that really helps your brain and your gut and your digestion. But it repairs that gut. It detoxifies from the chemicals that get trapped, and fat is really protection for our organs and our bodies, because fat gets enveloped, or the toxins get enveloped by the fat, which is, doing a favor, but it's a blessing and a curse for those of us who might want to have a flat stomach again, because those little bubbles are making that not possible, right? But as soon as you get the toxins released from the body and you open those pathways to get them out, those little fat bubbles start popping and tummies start flattening. It's kind of a cool thing. Inflammation, that's swelling, right? We have a lot of that in our stomach if we don't have a balanced gut. We also have the endocrine system. That SP6 patch there is working on the hypothalamus of the brain. And that is your ultimate endocrine regulator. And that helps control cravings. And it's not just for craving's sake, but it's also helping to balance blood sugar and support the pancreas. So great things. And the combination of this is just amazing. But this picture here, several pictures, are my bonus daughter, Angie. This is Eric's daughter at our beach house, the end of August last year. She was quite miserable. She has been an insomniac her whole life, dealt with anxiety, depression, and just very scattered. And she was not feeling well. She kept throwing up this GERD thing. She thought she had the flu, and then we realized, no, it's not. And then I said, well, Ange, I just listened to the doctor, and I have all 4 of these patches. You're staying for the week with me. Do you want to give them a try? And she was like, yeah, I'm desperate. Let's do it. So the picture on the end of September in the skinny jeans is this same girl. If you can imagine, she lost 35 pounds in 18 days by wearing those 4 patches on her stomach. The first day we start the 4 above the belly button, then the next day at the belly button, then below the belly button. Repeat that cycle for a minimum of 18 days. I have now learned from another doctor, you can go for up to 90 days. So if you really have toxicity and you're really wanting to do more work on that, you can continue going. 18 days is not the limit, but that is what Dr. Velvet had trained me on. But here is Angie, our beautiful, beautiful daughter in December. She's sleeping. She's able to clean her room. She's able to balance her checkbook. She is a happy girl. She is changed, and she has confidence for the first time in many, many years. Her body has continued to release the weight as the toxins and inflammation continue to go down, and she's repairing her body. She's now lost in total 70 pounds. These jeans, and she sent this in a video, and she was spinning around. It doesn't do it justice, but these are very baggy on her now. What was a tight jean there in end of September. So pretty great, pretty darn great. This arrived in my inbox just a couple days. If any of you follow Chris Beat Cancer, he's a fantastic guy. I know Joy turned me onto this. He was talking about cancer risk with the semaglutide weight loss shots, like Ozempic and stuff. And Angie, my daughter, is telling me that these skinny girls at work, they're getting these doctors to prescribe this, and we're talking a lot of money. And then to find out there's a link between cancer. So please don't do that. Do it the right way, the simple way, the way Mother Nature intended. Just put some light in your stomach and let it do what it should. So I am going to switch spots here with Cammie now, and she is going to walk you through some more detailed information on this.
We need to attach the all products sheet.
Oh, okay.
Hello. So this says it's Tracey Flintoff talking, but it's really me. So I'm in the driver's seat now. So let's chat about how to get these wonderful things in our hands. So the main patch that Tracey's been talking about has been the X39, and that causes your body to make a copper peptide. So that's why she spent so much time sharing about the amazing benefits of what copper peptides do. There's 50 years of research on copper peptides. And the X39 makes GHK copper peptide, X49 makes AHK copper peptide, and both signal to your body to help release your own stem cells. we tend to recommend that everybody start out with the X39 because that is the one that causes your body to release pluripotent stem cells or repair cells. When we're chatting here in this type of group, we can let you know, these are the master cells of the body. These are the ones that can become anything your body is needing to repair. X49 tends to send specialized stem cells to the areas of the brain, the cardiovascular system, the muscles, and the bones. So both are wonderful. To give you an idea of cost, these patches, the X39 or the X49, retail for $149. And that's for a 30-day supply. That is not a bad price, in my opinion, compared to the thousands of dollars it costs to do stem cell injections and other treatments. And what I'm finding is that over time, with people's doctors, consultations and making sure that they're under their doctor's care, they're able to get off of certain prescriptions with their doctor's concerns because their bodies are actually improving and repairing and regenerating. So that's a beautiful thing. So $99 is a wholesale cost for each of these packs, and we would love to help you build a wholesale pack to get you access to this wholesale pricing. So Eon is really great for inflammation. And we call the Eon and X39 the dynamic duo. We start probably, 99% of the people that we consult with, we suggest the Eon and the X39 to them because the Eon reduces inflammation, and then the X39 can send more of those master cells to repair what's going on. And we all have inflammation. And I don't know, raise your hand if you don't have stress. So the Eon actually helps reduce the negative effects of stress in your body. There's a C-reactive protein that is measurable that I've heard some pretty amazing results from, that Eon can help your body take down naturally. So carnosine is another major antioxidant that our body needs. It's very helpful for the brain, for the heart, the muscles, and it's also a detoxifier. It's very good at taking aluminum out of your brain, and very tremendous for brain health issues and supporting the brain. Glutathione is, I like to call glutathione my favorite garbage truck or my favorite garbage man. He comes and takes out everything I don't want in my body. So glutathione is an antioxidant. Our body needs a lot of it. And over time, we lose our ability, and probably with diet too, diet is everything. Our bodies, we don't have as much glutathione as we need, and it kind of limits our own ability to detox our own bodies. So I think of the glutathione as the garbage truck or the shovel that starts taking the piles of garbage out of my system so that it can kickstart my body's own natural detoxing abilities. Chelation is the name, helps open pathways in the liver to chelate nasty heavy metals and different things out of your body. Ice Wave is wonderful for immediate pain relief. It's a 2-patch system, and when you find the right placement on the nerves that are barking the pain message to the brain, it absolutely stops sending that message anymore. Energy Enhancer is the granddaddy of them all. Those were the ones that Michael Phelps was wearing when he won those Olympic gold medals. It is a 2-patch system. And that, again, signals the mitochondria with light. Mitochondria are the powerhouses in your cells. They are the ones that will burn carbs or burn fat as fuel. And in this case, this energy enhancer signals the mitochondria to burn fat as fuel. And so you can burn an extra 300 to 600 calories a day and really have no crash. It absolutely is wonderful, healthy, no negative side effects in burning a few extra calories. Silent nights helps your body create melatonin for sleep. And if you're not getting a great night's sleep, your body isn't able to detox. So we do love to help people get a great night's sleep and have lots of energy during the day. Usually the X39, just with use of that, can help. But sometimes the additional boost of silent nights really gets that kick started for someone who's having significant trouble. SP6 is incredibly helpful for basically your endocrine system and your hypothalamus of your brain, your autonomic nervous system. So if you think of, you don't have to think to tell your stomach to digest, right? You don't have to think to tell your brain or tell your pancreas to produce insulin, but the SP6 provides different neurotransmitters and different signals to your cells to support those parts of the body, including your thyroid. Incredibly helpful. Alavita is wonderful at helping elevate your collagen and cartilage. It's really good for your brain, the frontal lobe of your brain. Tracey she says that's one of her favorite patches. And also I heard it as the trophy wife patch, which I'm quite thankful to put that on my forehead every night. I'm gonna be a trophy wife for somebody someday. So and it also, we didn't even talk about telomeres tonight, and that's maybe another conversation for another day, but Alavita actually helps lengthen your telomeres on your DNA. So incredible stuff. All of those patches I was just talking about are supportive patches, retail for $79.95. And we like to help people, again, get that preferred customer or wholesale pricing. It can be as low as $49.95 if you buy 3 or more, or that is the pricing for it as we build your wholesale pack. That's the pricing that you'll get right off the bat. So, and then the Alavita system. So this really helps you from the inside out and the outside in. The Alavita patch we just talked about helps your skin not only on the inside but the outside. So if you think of like your stomach lining or the lining that you have skin on the inside of your body as well, so super supportive for your skin. But the Alavita skincare system, there is a day cream and a night cream, and they are incredibly natural. They worked with a scientist from the top scientist from Estee Lauder, and David Schmidt was very particular about creating a formula and that was very, very natural. There's just a tiny little preservative in there to help it not go bad while you're there shipping it and while they're using it. But I tell you what, it's pretty amazing. And it's a screaming deal too. I don't know if any of you spent any time at the Estee Lauder counter. I don't know if there's any one thing that's less than $150 at the counter. So ways to get this in your hands. So please get with the person who invited you to this call. They care about you and they would love to help you get the wholesale pricing. Or if you choose to do retail, please go back to the person who invited you. They will give you a link and they will help you get that order on the way. But the best way we prefer to help people get wholesale pricing with no fees. So when you're looking at this cost, $299.95 for the silver kit. 100% of that money goes to patches that get shipped to you. So there's no fees to access this wholesale pricing. And then from then on, once you buy that silver kit, you can either choose to upgrade to a gold and receive some free patches, or you can order at wholesale pricing. So that's an amazing way to get patches. If you have a large family, or if you have a clinic of some sort, you're a healthcare practitioner or an esthetician, and you want to help your clients, we can definitely help you figure out what you need for the diamond kit, and also help you implement this in your business context. We're very, very helpful, and Tracey and I have been helping people implement this into their clinics. So there is a 30-day money back guarantee. So really, you have nothing to lose. It's non-transdermal. It's not anything entering your body. It doesn't negatively interact with anything that you may be taking prescription wise. But do work closely with your doctor, because you might not need it eventually. So really, there's no risk. It's just a little bit of time and to try it and see how it works for you. So this company is absolutely growing. So like Tracey said, it was like the secret sauce in the athletic world for many, many years. And then in 2018, when the stem cell activation patch, or the X39, activating the master cells, came out, everybody wanted to get their hands on it. And the company is exploding. So this is the season to share this with your friends or family, or people who say they're always going to have something, and you say, I might have something for you. I just heard about this. Please, please, please don't keep this a secret, because chances are they're going to hear about this from somebody else. It's growing like crazy. So there are plenty of ways to learn more. Every week, our greater team. So Tracey and I are here in this local Puget Sound area. We are Team Evolve. And but we belong to a greater team called, I'm sorry, Team Harmony. We belong to a greater team called Team Evolve. And every day of the week, except for Sundays, you can listen to different podcasts or educational Zoom calls. So these are things that you can invite your friends and family to as well. So I absolutely love listening to Dr. Tracey. She's very informative. She interviews other doctors and other practitioners. She interviews athletes. She interviews trainers, people who are using the product. Incredibly knowledgeable. So she's got an amazing story, and I just absolutely love listening to her. So we have a podcast on Thursdays for our Spanish speaking friends. I just can't tell you that, I mean, we have so many amazing resources to help us. But here we are. Here's Tracey and I, Tuesday night here on Zoom. So since you're here, you know about this call. But we are here every Tuesday night. So if you're listening to this on a recording, please put it on your calendar and join us. Invite your friends to it. On Wednesdays, our friend Marcy does a patch party or Zoom call at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And again, that's another wonderful opportunity to hop on a call with somebody, have an expert tell you about the patches, hear some amazing stories, possibly win some patches from Marcy, and then you help them build their pack. It's a wonderful way to share. And then, oops, I went so fast. Thursday, May 29th, is it Thursday or Wednesday?
It is actually Wednesday.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we're gonna be at Tracey's house here in Buckley.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Oh, Wanda's coming. Okay, Wanda, welcome, Wanda. In on August or on April 1st, we had Dr. Harmon come to town, and I know Tracey mentioned that Carla and I have developed a good friendship with him. He is a chiropractor. He has a brain health clinic, and he's the author of the book How to Reverse Aging, a complete comprehensive guide to copper peptides, which is about the 50 years of research on copper peptides. So then later that evening, so we had this wonderful event with over 100 people here in the Puyallup area. And then later that evening, we chatted with over 30 chiropractors. And so we are absolutely honored and thrilled. And so if you know of a chiropractic association or know of someone who's interested in this, who is a practitioner, this event that Dr. Harmon did was available for continuing education credits for those individuals. So anyways, just put that little bug in your ear. Please contact me. And we did steal this from Dr. Harmon, and we love this because the concept here is that we're getting younger and we're not getting older and with more and more ailments. We're getting younger with fewer and fewer issues, health issues. We want to live young, healthy, and strong for all of our years. But I'll keep the wisdom I've gained. Thank you very much. So, and there you go. So, just anybody. Oh, more products.
Oh, no, that just
Oh,
continued. You can
we just
skip that.
we just keep on
You can't
going.
just stop at that.
We just keep on going. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself, and Tracey and I can answer questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
What determines where you put the patch? Does it whatever patch you buy is where it specifically goes? Why does Tracey have one on her chest, but Joy put hers on the back of her neck?
So that's a very, very good question. Tracey is, so where Tracey's has her patch right now is where I would place it if I had a cough, or she said that was glutathione, right? So glutathione tells your body to kill germs, viruses, bacteria, and things. So if I feel a tickle in my throat, I put it on my lymph nodes in my throat. If I feel a cough, I will put it on my sternum or on my chest. So yes, it is somewhat directional, glutathione, I have found out. So you can place it where you, if you have an open wound or a wound where you're fearful that it might get infected, glutathione is very helpful for that. So yes, I mean, the places that you'll find at the back of the book, you know, every package, let me grab, I have an X39 pack right here. So in the back of the instruction book that you get, the very back page will show you the recommended places to put the patch, right? So those are recommended based on where they were studied. And also, like Tracey said, the recommended places have to do with your chi and your meridians and your blood flow and your energy flow. And so the X39, we want to activate that GHK copper peptide in your blood. And those two places are where you have a tremendous amount of blood flow for your whole body. Now, there's different, everybody finds their spots. So there's no wrong answer. Ice Wave is very directional. So you have to find the nerves that are barking that pain signal to the brain. Eon, again, helps wonderful for inflammation. I just have to say, this has renewed my hormones. And so I've started having a regular period again. This morning, my back was aching terribly, and I hadn't gotten dressed or put my jammies. I was working in my jammies until 4 p.m. today. True confessions. But I took an X39, and that's all I could find at the moment until I was going to go upstairs and get Eon. But I literally put the X39 on my spine where it was aching tremendously. And within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the pain was gone just with X39. So it's a powerful patch on its own. I didn't reach for the Eon. Now I absolutely can and certainly will tomorrow, but I am doing amazing with this X39 on my pain spot. So we've got a lot of tools in the trade.
Okay, thanks.
So, yeah. Anybody else? Any questions?
So I just wanted to say and add to that, that whenever I first started wearing the patches, the first place I wore it was on my C7, and I tried it one time, below the belly button, and I didn't have the coverage as far as I started having some breakthrough sensory overwhelm. And so for me, because I had a brain injury, I needed to wear it close to my head and on my spine. And depending on what's happening and what I'm trying to solve or help or assist my body in, will depend on the patch placement. But and I also recommend that if something's not working, if it's not doing what you would like it to do, to consult one of us, and we can help you with some different placement options that might actually help with gaining the result that you're anticipating.
Good comment,
Oh.
Joy.
Yep.
Cindy, you have a question?
Yeah, I just, every time I join, I always have new information, and I absolutely, not me, but I mean, I get new information. So Joy, loved your story. Oh my gosh. I have a couple people. One, she suffers from depression so bad. My question was, which patch would you guys highly recommend? And when I mean suffers from depression, I think she's on 7 or 8 meds right now, and she's still, when she goes up in a plane, she wants it to go down, kind of thoughts. And so I said, we've got to get her. I know on X39,
Yes.
but I didn't. So that's why, Joy, I don't know if it's even almost
Yeah.
to you, because